Today on the channel from Marvel Legends and Werewolf by Night, don't call him Swamp Thing, this is the Man-Thing.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another Marvel Legends unboxing and review. And today we go to the Disney Plus one-off special, Werewolf by Night, for old Man-Thing. But for all your Man-Thing needs and a whole lot more, hit up DJC Collectibles. Use discount code 8OFFDJC to save 8% off your entire order. And Man-Thing, a classic character, a little of the spooky variety, I would say, and everybody loves a Man-Thing, especially my wife. She's a big fan of a Man-Thing, of course, but Man-Thing was in Werewolf by Night. A little bit shocked, but I probably shouldn't have been that we got a figure from this. And of course, a little bit of we've been there before, a little bit of that deja vu with this one here. A little bit of a re-release with some twists. Of course, Man-Thing back in the day was a Build-A-Figure. We will compare that later on in this very video. And of course, we're going to do this video like we do all the other videos on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. But whenever I see Man-Thing, I think of my boy Swamp Thing. Of course, a kid growing up in the 80s, you couldn't miss those Swamp Thing movies, Swamp Thing cartoons, Swamp Thing TV series, Swamp Thing action figures. Everything was coming from the swamp back in the day. Not so much the Man-Thing. However, in a dangerous plot twist, most people do know, Man-Thing actually predates the Swamp Thing. So always interesting. It always feels kind of like he's the knockoff. That is not the case. And they're not even really the same character and stuff. I think it's just they're green and kind of looks like they came from the swamp. Maybe there's a lot of correlation between that. Just the way it goes over and over and over and over again. But let's get after the old Man-Thing coming in this nice deluxe box here. Very nice box for this one. A one-off Werewolf by Night. Are we going to get a werewolf figure? That'd be pretty cool. But Marvel Legends up here. Werewolf by Night down there. 14 and up on this one. It's spooky season, Mark Summers. It's too spooky for people, but 14 and up on this one. Man-Thing, big window box there. If you want to get his autograph at a con or something like that, you could easily do that. Nothing going on over here. And then Man-Thing. Wouldn't be shocked to see this Man-Thing. A black and white version, a repaint, a fan channel exclusive maybe with some red eyes. I could see that in the future. We'll see what happens there. And it is on the back, Werewolf by Night. Where else would it go? It wouldn't be Werewolf by Day. It just doesn't work that way, of course, as we know as well. Gonna open him up on the bottom here. We got that little tab. You pull that tab out. Pull this out. We get a little Spider-Man style. Bam! See you later. Goodbye. And we slide him out. Box. See you later. Goodbye. And we get the old plastic prison. Big deluxe figure here. 2 extra sets of hands. And that's all you're going to get with this one. Pop it all out. Maybe. There it is. And you see that, old Todd McFarlane? See you later. Goodbye. No twist ties. No twist ties here. I'm here for that, of course. I'm also here for 2 hands, 2 fists of fury out of the package. Then we got 2 gripping hands, maniacal hands as well as I drop them off the table. But we get 2 extra hands here for the Man-Thing, so you can choose your own hand adventure. I love that because you can make them as different as possible from the last incarnation. And like I said, we'll get into that here in a second. First thing I noticed, my Build-A-Figure a little bit loose, a little frog style. This is nice and tight right out of the package here. Big old head going on like a sea monster or something. Almost looks like an octopus with those big tentacles coming down the face. Those crazy red eyes and the beautiful green color. And then you got kind of that bronze color throughout on this one. Really just going throughout the whole body. You do see that all the way into the head, everything else. But looking very nice in the head sculpt department. We know that's Man-Thing if you do see that. Color on the colorways throughout the body on this one. Even got some barnacles on the side of his shoulders there. Looking interesting. Big back, almost a hunchback. Dare I say a hunchback on the back over here. You get the vines, you get some of that, you get some shrubbery throughout. And if you're an artist out there and you want to paint one of these things up, I think you can bring out even more of the sculpt if you really wanted to with some colors. Maybe even darken it up a little bit, as it is fairly bright. Darker creature is what I think of with the Man-Thing. So I think if you put a dirty wash over the top of this, might even make it a little bit more grungy, I think. But it does look really cool throughout on the body here. He's got an Eternia loincloth down here made out of seaweed. So shout out to Eternia and their cloth makers there. Loincloths, of course. More barnacles down onto the thighs. Kind of look at it every time you see a little bit of different shrubbery, different things going on throughout him. Very Swamp Thing-like, once again. Bare feet down here. He's got some toenails. He needs a pedicure, no doubt about it. Maybe my wife can take him on her next visit. We'll see what happens there. 2 big fists of fury here, so you get to choose your own hand adventure, as we did say. Articulation, arms go all the way around for us. No butterfly in there, but you do get a bicep cut. Single jointed pinned elbow, very tight joint. Hand back forth, side to side, removable. Head back forth, side to side, head removable as well. Big long head, long face, I guess, on this one. Nice tight ab crunch on here, really like that. Waist articulation nice and tight as well. Big old Man-Thing splits if you do need him. He's peeking through windows on you. Be careful. Leg does go up. Double jointed pinned knees once again, but man, very tight joints. I love it. Ankles back, forth, up and down, side to side. He does got a hole in his foot. Is he going to fit on a Mattel Ringside Collectible stand? Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10% at Ringside Collectibles. Make sure you get a Mattel stand, as I always say, but he does fit on a stand, if that is your thing, of course. But very cool, and this is a figure I was originally going to pass on, and then I'm just a sucker for a creature like this. You know how that goes, and I figure, well, I could use the other one on one shelf, this one on a different shelf. They got different heads, put the different hands on them. All of a sudden, you got 2 Man-Things in your collection before you know it, and that's what happened to me here. Do got the original version, and I'm going to compare these guys right now. Very, very similar. Obviously, the same body, it looks like, for the most part here. We did get some different stuff. The forearms are definitely different on this. The hands are different as well. You get a little bit more crinkled up hands on this one, so that is kind of cool to see. The loincloth painted a different color. You do got some of the barnacles. We see that. Maybe a little bit more barnacles on this new one. Maybe not. Pretty close, as all things considered. Down there on the shins, you got a little bit more, almost looks like fur. Don't got that down here, so there is some difference there. Better painted toenails on this one. I do kind of like that. Definitely different on the shoulders as well, as you got the barnacles on this one, not on this one. A little bit more of kind of like seaweed and stuff around the shoulders and traps on this one, where it's a little different. So these actually are pretty different, all things considered. And then you get into the head, you got totally different heads on this one. So there is definitely enough differences to be dangerous on this 2 right here. So I do like what I see. Now the head should, I mean, you could probably pop the heads back and forth between the 2 if you wanted to. Swap them around, mix and match, choose your own head adventure. It doesn't look terrible. I mean, it definitely fits. It may be a little bit smaller, looks a little strange. This one over here, that fits on, and I don't know, you could easily switch these heads around if you really wanted to do that. If that was your kind of thing, you could easily switch these heads. I don't see really too much of an issue with these 2 being switched back and forth. So there may be just enough meat on the bones for this one to make it dangerous, to make it worth a pickup. I guess it does say, okay, how deep into it are you? How much do you like a Man-Thing? It's not really an Incredible Hulk or a Thing or a giant figure that, you know, you maybe need multiples of. I can see Man-Thing, since he's such an ancillary character. You had the previous one. Maybe you don't need the new one. However, I'm sure a lot of people don't have the Build-A-Figure from many years ago. This is going to be their only Man-Thing. That makes a lot of sense to me, and you can't do much better than that at this point, as I probably do prefer the original, or the new one over the original. I would say that here, but both are good for what they are. I like that they feel different enough. I think that is pretty fun. So not a bad one from the Werewolf by Night, but we're not done. Of course, I've been mentioning the whole thing. I've even been wearing the shirt. Got my boy Swamp Thing right here from the old DC line back in the day. We've had a few different Swamp Thing figures. Would love to go back and get all those Kenner Swamp Thing figures of the past. Just not sure that's in the cards for me, but man, it's one of those long game goals maybe I'll dive into in the future. But Swamp Thing, Man-Thing, like I said, very comparable. A lot of people do think of them in the same world. Similar but different. That's what we're calling them over here at the table today. But cool to see Swamp Thing. Anytime I can bring Swamp Thing out, that is a good day at the old office there. So for Man-Thing, an interesting figure, no doubt about it. Definitely worth a pickup. Wouldn't be shocked to see more Werewolf by Night figures. Could we see a sequel to that? I'm not exactly sure, but a black and white repaint of this might be pretty cool in the future. Just wait a year or so. Just wait a year or so. We'll see what happens. But what are your thoughts? You picking up this Man-Thing? Is this for you? Is this an immediate pickup? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. You made it this far. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and my other YouTube channel. Videos every single day. And if you want to support the channel, head over to the Patreon. Link in the description down below. Bonus content, exclusive content, early access, glamour shots, pizza reviews, dog stuff, you name it. It's all going down on the Patreon channel. Appreciate the support over there. You can also support the channel, PressTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. And don't forget social media. SirPaul64 on the X, the _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, and on Instagram. So for the Mighty Man-Thing and Swamp Thing 2, I am Kyle. See you guys all real soon.